What's up, movie fans, and welcome back, David Lee Movie Vlog. And I hope everyone had a great President's Day weekend. So now that the whole President Day weekend, the whole holiday season, because if you're not from America, there's one thing Americans love, and that's to do holiday seasons for no apparent reason. So I hope everyone had a great holiday. And now let's get back into the flow of things with the movie news. So Amy Pascal has finally came out of the woodworks and talked about all the things that happened with the Sony hacking. Now, she was the head of Sony, and now she's finally come out of the woodworks and to tell us, hey, this is what's going on, and this is what happened. And some things are shocking, some things are not. I'll leave a link down to her interview down below. So the problems I had with the interview was only one certain time. Is where the interviewer finally asked her, hey, what about hearing that women are not being paid as much as the men? And her response was a little bit something I come to expect and a little bit not. Now, basically what she says is that she's not out there to give a helping hand to these women actors. If Amy Adams comes up to her and says, I want this much money, she'll say, okay, yeah, you can have that much money. But in the back of her head, she's going, hey, if you would ask her a little bit more, I would have definitely been able to give it to you. Now, she states that if women want to get paid for what they think that they deserve, stop asking for too little. Because her job as a lead executive was not to give a helping hand to these actors. Now, if a woman wants to come and say, I think I deserve this much, and she says, hold your horses. No, it's up to the women to say, fuck you then. I'm going to go and take my ass somewhere place else where I know I'll get paid. And she says, only then will women get what they deserve, what they think they deserve. And the thing is that you have to understand, in Hollywood, when you tell this to a person, no matter male or female, the back of their head, they know that if they say no to this, you have someone in the woodworks who's up and coming, who's a fresh face. They're going to come in and take your job. And they may do a better job than you. They may do a worse job than you. But the worst thing about Hollywood is if you're not in the films, people forget about you like that. And so basically what I got the gist of is that she's not out there to give them a helping hand. She's not there to tell them, hey, I'm going to be your life coach. I'm going to teach you, hey, this is what you deserve. And this is how to get respect in Hollywood. No, they'll just give it to all the men and say, fuck you, women. Once you hit a certain age, you're past your prime. I don't need you anymore. And that's what needs to stop in Hollywood. People like Amy Pascal, who you definitely can tell she's a woman who worked her way up, and she deserves where she got. Now, did she do a great job with Sony when she was the head exec? Because I know in May, I think, or February of this month, her contract ran out. And I know she went off to do different projects, but if a woman like that could get up that high, doesn't she owe the other women to say, hey, we need to come together and we need to show Hollywood that we need a change. We need to get women to be paid exactly what they deserve, not what they think they deserve. Because she's just put it all on the actor saying, you guys are the ones that are lowballing yourselves, not the executives. The executives don't have anything to do with that. They just say, okay, if you want to get paid that much, okay. Now, really, people, do you really think the real world acts like that? Like, where you go up to your boss and you say, I deserve this. And he says, fuck you, get the fuck out, and I could get someone new. That's how the real world works. Not the way Amy Pascal says is like, oh, if they come up to me and they say, I don't think I deserve that. This is too much of a low ball. I deserve this. Oh, of course, we will give that to you. We'll be happy to. Really, people, do you think that's the way? And that's the way what I got out of it. Now go and watch the video and you guys can hear what she says about it. And all about the Sony hacks is all dirty laundry from Hollywood, and you have to know. You cannot have your head in the sand and say Hollywood's not this pretty, or Hollywood is this pretty place, because we know it's not. And I do understand that the name of the game is to bash your competitor and try to get them to see your way and your way only. So I'm just glad to see Amy Pascal came out of the woodworks and kind of tried to explain herself. And the interview was okay, but there was just some little issue that I had just with how she says that women represent themselves in Hollywood and how it's the actress' fault for being lowballed, not the executives who deal with all the money. And so now the second story of the day is that this year, the last 2 months, January and February, it's been feast or famine at the box office. And this week, we had a feast. We had 50 Shades of Grey making $80+ million in its first opening weekend. And I think it made 100 some odd in its 4-day weekend for the holiday. And this has just proven to me that 2015 is going to be one of those blockbuster years. Like the last couple of years, they said that the box office numbers been going down, but if you look at it, people want. Oh, you can't say that 50 Shades of Grey is quality, but they want something that they. It feels like that this year, Hollywood's given us everything that we want to see. The erotic thriller that was 50 Shades of Grey, which it wasn't really erotic, it was kind of dull and boring, but I understand that there was a need for that audience, and that audience has been fed. And I think that Hollywood's going to look at this year and be like, what do the audience want from Hollywood? And they're going to look at this, and I think that in the next couple of years, you're going to see a lot more of a transformation in Hollywood to coming to see what this generation wants out of films. Now, 50 Shades of Grey goes and makes buco bucks at the box office this weekend. Number one box office film for February in all time. I think it beat out Passion of the Christ, which, okay. You know, you got the religious fanatics or you got the people who want to see whipping. Whoa, wait a minute. You tell me that February, the one thing that February is known for is for whipping. Because you got Jesus being whipped. You got Mr. Grey whipping his bitch all over the place, even though it really wasn't like that at all. But there's a lot of whipping that goes on in February. You definitely tell in the box office. That's what they want to see. And if that's what the people want to see, I guess just give it to them. I'll just be in the back and just, give my lashings. But 50 Shades of Grey makes around $80 million. And the great thing about it is to see that a woman director, this is the most that a woman director opened with in the box office. And when you look at 50 Shades of Grey, you may look, the content's shit, but you cannot deny that the direction and the way the film was shot, everything from that standpoint was beautiful. And so I'm just glad to see this woman making a lot of money, and hopefully that this opens up the doors for more women directors to come in there. And hopefully next time we will see a woman director actually direct a film that has a script that's actually good, because 50 Shades of Grey was not. And I think more women actors need to be prominent because they got such a different eye than males. And so 50 Shades of Grey made a buco bucks, and who's there to say that that's all wrong? Because I don't think so. You have Jesus being whipped. You have whatever the fuck her name is being whipped by being whipped by Mr. Grey. I guess that's what February people want to see. My third and final story is that Matthew Vaughn, director of The Kingsman, The Secret Service, has done an interview with USA Today, and he says that Colin Firth, they're going to try to get him into the sequel. Now, I'm not going to go into any spoilers about the newest film that came out this week, The Kingsman, The Secret Service, but I am just hoping that they get Colin Firth in there for the sequel, because he was downright the best part about that film. It's like when you see him on screen, you're like, holy shit, this is what this guy can do. This guy can kick major freaking ass. And I loved his action scenes. His action scenes were perfect. And like when he was not on screen, I don't know, I felt like there was a little bit of something missing from the film. But when he was on, oh my god. So I hope they do some Deus Ex Machina and be like, hey, here's Colin Firth. Or maybe it will just be in like, let's see what he was like in the past. But I am just so excited that The Kingsman, The Secret Service, made around $40 million this weekend. I was not expecting that at all. I was expecting somewhere from the 13 to 15 mark, but no. This film went out and blew every single box office prediction numbers out of the park, and it became the second highest grossing film for this week. And oh my god, am I excited for the possibility of Colin Firth becoming into the sequel of Kingsman. Now, Colin Firth, you have to know this, by the way, is that he is one of my favorite actors out there. I mean, everything he does, he just is. I just look at him like, dude, you may be very understated, but you're definitely a kick-ass actor. And everything that I've seen him in, he hasn't disappointed. The movies he may be in disappoint, but he never does. And so knowing that Colin Firth has a possibility of returning into this franchise, because now you know it's going to be a franchise, and a rated R franchise like this, if they stick with the rated R, which they should, it will be amazing to have Colin Firth in there. Just to be maybe the Obi-Wan Kenobi of this series would be fantastic. And to actually see a rated R franchise like this is just makes my little heart sputter that little bit more and just like, oh my God, we live in a fantastic time, especially for Hollywood, because 2015, as I said, is looking like it's going to be a year to remember. So, what do you guys think about all these stories? Let me know down below. As always, people, you can hit that subscribe button. My name's David Lee, and follow me on Twitter. I'll leave a link down below. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.